hyper users of Instagram are also, they're sadistic, Machiavellian, psychopathic, and narcissistic, and they optimize for short-term mating strategies. So they're promiscuous. They're more callous in their utilization of themselves and others.
And in this case, it's trash like BBLs. It's trash like a McLaren that you can't afford. It's trash like polarizing political views rather than hearing the other side out. And because of that, our values change. The need to be a good mother is no longer cool. The need to be a good husband is no longer cool. The need to be a good school teacher, to be the top level preacher you can be is no longer cool. It's all replaced by material things. That is our new God, our new thing we worship. Today's video, I want to talk about is social media making us all narcissists and making it harder to have relationships. There's an idea in society that social media makes us more closer together than ever because you can reach out and touch anybody. I'm going to argue the opposite. I'm going to say that it makes it harder to have relationships, harder to connect with people, and there's a new challenge of narcissists rising up. So today's video, we're going to review a Jordan Peterson interview that he did on Sky News Australia, as well as hop back and forth between a video that I shot in Mexico a few weeks ago. I didn't put that out, but I think now is a great time to do that because it all relates and blends together nicely. It's going to be really entertaining.
I'm afraid, deeply afraid, that virtualization enables psychopathy, and that might be a fatal problem socially as we move towards a more virtualized world. It's not easy to keep the Machiavellian, psychopathic, narcissistic sadists under control. They're a small proportion of the population, but it's all about them and their short-term needs, and they'll do anything to make those paramount. It looks to me that when we virtualize the world, we take all the constraints off those people.
There's something we said about going online and getting all of your validation met in an instant, getting all your attention met in an instant. It's like, if you can get it all online, why would you go face to face? They say internet and social media helps us connect more than ever, but really we're more distant because we're getting all of our needs met from online relationships that are virtual, don't even exist. The brain isn't wired for that.
So, for example, on social media, all the power's in the hands of the accusers. Wow, that's not good, you know. Believe all women. It's like, yeah, fair enough, except it's believe most women. As soon as it's all, it's like, yeah, well, what about the psychopaths? Oh, well, they don't exist. It's like, oh, you wouldn't say that if you ever met one. So if you think that all people who are malevolent are only victims, you're naive and fortunate, and you better wake up, because one of these days someone like that's going to come and knock on your door, and you are going to be one sorry person. So, and it's very difficult to keep that 5% of the population regulated. All their regulation is external because they have no internal regulation. Social media rewards disagreeable, extroverted people, and it also disinhibits all the temptations that are associated with that. It's not good. And the research on this is becoming quite clear, by the way. So we know that female hyper users of Instagram are also, they're sadistic, Machiavellian, psychopathic, and narcissistic, and they optimize for short-term mating strategies. So they're promiscuous, and that's a marker for antisocial behavior. So antisocial people, broadly speaking, have more sexual partners. They start engaging in sex earlier. They're more callous in their utilization of themselves and others.
All about reputation, all about social clout, all about attention, all about how you feel. Not about responsibility to society, not about how you're making other people feel, not about being accountable for your own actions and the repercussions of those actions. Horrible. This is the world we live in today. Where do we go from here? It's a dark place, man. If you get emotionally involved with somebody who is narcissistic and you don't know that they are, you can't pick up on the signs, then you're going to be at a disadvantage because you're going to be in a situation where you're dating somebody who is unable to love you, because that person, by definition of being a narcissist, is in love with who? Who are they in love with? Themselves. They can't be in love with anybody else if they're in love with themselves, right? Obviously. So there's a conflict of interest there because you're putting your time, energy, money, your resources into somebody who is not willing to give it back, or just willing to give a little bit so they get some sort of emotional conquering and domination over you, and you're basically a sub. You know, I say a relationship really comes down to 4 factors, okay, and I kind of hinted at this a second ago. It is your time investment, not a time you're spending together, right? Your time is gone. What else is it? Your emotion. You're putting emotion in the situation. They want you to open up, they want you to share, they want you to give. It's also your financial resources, and if you're a guy, This is the one you take the most seriously because you can't go out all the time with new people. And every time you go with somebody, it costs money, right? You're going on dates, cool adventures, etc. And then last but not least, what is it? Sex. It's sensuality, it's intimacy, okay? And if you're investing all these things into a narcissist and you're not getting them back, then you're at a disadvantage and you're at a constant loss. You're at a sunken cost every time you see this person and spend time with this person. Does that make sense to you? Dating is dead.
Dating is dead.
There's no way I'm ready for that.
A little while ago, I did a video on the internet. It's about a year ago, actually. And I was saying that dating is dead. And everyone's like, what? What do you mean dating is dead? Actually, this wasn't even a year ago, bro. It was like 2018. Maybe I said dating is dead. I was like, what do you mean it's dead? I still go on dates and they're fantastic. And it's like, yeah, but the general market is shifting. And I believe I was a little bit early when I started to think about this stuff. I'm always like a kind of a trendsetter when it comes to these factors because I'm out there live in the field, 135 countries, 720 live events, and I'm just like learning stuff more rapidly, so I see it faster. But I believe that dating really is dying, and that was 5 years ago, bro. So imagine now, how has it all changed? Well, if more and more people are narcissistic in their behavior, it just makes the dating environment suck even more and more. I'm on one of these boot camp programs, and a student says to me, he goes, I want to find somebody who loves me, somebody who respects me, values me, appreciates me, worships me, is there for me, is excited about my passions. And I said, what is wrong with this phrase, bro? What's wrong with this phrase? He's like, I don't know. It sounds great. Somebody who's like there for me, appreciates me, worships me, loves me, takes care of me, loves my ambitions and my passions. I said, the problem is it's all about you. Listen to that. It's all you. Every sentence of that was like me. I want. And the problem with that is it's completely self-serving. It is completely self-serving. And you cannot find true love if you are a self-serving person, all right? This actually links me to a quote in one of the best books of all time. You might have heard of it. It's called the Bible. I don't know if you've heard of that before. And it's a book called the Bible. This is a letter from Paul, okay, the Apostle Paul to the first congregations of Corinthians. I'm sure some of you are rolling your eyes right now, just like the fucking camera guy, just rolling your eyes like, damn it, he's going through the fucking Bible. But there's a point to this, right? It makes sense, all right? Because it's one of the oldest historical contexts of love. It's about, 5,000 years old, 4,000 years old. So this letter, he says, love is not self-serving, love is not pompous, love does not boast, love does not take care of it only itself, love is giving, love is selfless. And this is important because he's talking about fraternal love, but it also relates to like interpersonal love, relationships. This is all very true. It's so true that they use this in weddings. At every friggin' wedding you go to, they recite this love quote, right? So this is what love is. And you can't be in love or find love if you're only concerned with who? Me, number one honcho, head honcho, head huno, Mr. Important. And this is like the culture that we have these days, right? Like, look at the fucking culture that's going on right now. Bro, it blows my mind. Like, it's so insane that I can't, like, I'm gonna describe it to you, but as I say it, there's even more that I'm gonna be missing out here, right? Look at the culture these days. You go to a club, the signs of the club, be your best self. Be your best self, like all over the club. You go to a cafe, it's like, you gotta love yourself, you come first. It's like, these signs are just everywhere, and we're sucked into this world of too much self-love. The pendulum has completely swung the other way. It's too much self-love. We've gone too far into the self-love. And now that we've gone so far as people in self-love, we don't know where the line is. We've crossed it. So what do we got now in the world? We got, let's say if you're a woman watching this, and I hope that you are one of the 5 women that watch my videos. If you are one of them, what happens, all right? You get up in the morning, you put on makeup. You say, well, I just put on makeup for myself. Well, do you wear that makeup at home in your house? In your bedroom alone? No. Then you go to work with a push-up bra and some high heels. Does that help you functionally do your job better? No, it's just to look pretty and attract the men and make them spend money or to give their power to you, right? And then you might go on a vacation. You see a lot of people go on a vacation these days. And guess what? They're not necessarily paying for those vacations. There's somebody in the background paying for the vacations. If you see a girl on the boat, guess what? I hate to say this, but there's a 90% chance, 95% chance she doesn't own that boat, right? She's on the boat. And then she goes to a club, there's bottle service. Who's paying for the bottles? Well, sometimes women get together and have celebrations with bottle service, but very often there's a big cultural trend of people going to bottles service and just using the guys for bottles. And then they might, I don't know, go on Tinder. And on Tinder, I'll pop it up on the screen here, bro. I know people that have 3,000 to 7,000 matches and they don't like anybody they see. But the guys are just thirstily swiping. Show me her thing. So, as you guys said, this guy paid for a rose. So this guy, see the one with some red there? He paid money. That cost him like $3.
Really?
And you can't even see his face.
No.
So he paid money that is kind of thrown in the garbage. You understand? Because you would not even see him. Okay, keep going. How many?
That's a lot.
How many? Wow. Keep going. Yeah. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, go here. I saw a study about a guy, it's nothing by like wheat waffles or something, a study by a guy who did 13,000 swipes. He had 1,000 matches and it resulted in a bunch of conversations and 3 potential dates, but they all flaked. It's just bad out there, right? Is your job as a wife to be served? No, your job as a wife is to serve your husband. And likewise, it is a husband's job to serve and protect his wife. But if both people are in it like, I'm the best and I deserve everything, then how does that even work? There's no compromise. There cannot be love without compromise. That's just a fact. Now, as a guy who was a former dating coach, I can see the appeal of this. Not even like a regular dating coach, the world's most international first black dating coach, whatever that is, okay? So like, I traveled everywhere internationally. I was the first one who did it. I can see the appeal of like getting new people and conquering new people and how it makes you have another notch in your belt and you count your score and you feel great about it. And I can see the attachment of like really taking your sexuality, and because it's something that's been like hard for you to conquer, you're now able to take your sexuality and you master it. And you become the master of that sexuality. You feel great because it's something that you've dominated, that something you couldn't, an area you weren't able to be in control before. I can see the appeal of that. I can understand why women will do that. They'll twerk on the Instagram. They'll post, basically Instagram is like a nude photo content place at this point. Like it's just nude photo, like, oh, look at the sun. It's like a nude photo. It's like, oh, look at this art. It's a nude photo. It's like, I like peaches, like eating a peach while you're nude. It's like, that's what Instagram is basically now. You know, you go to the gym, people have gym outfits, and the gym outfits are like up their butt crack. It's like literally like it's a thong going up their ass in the gym, and they're like working out doing squats, and they're like, why are you looking at me? It's like, that's what we're at right now, okay? So I can see the appeal of owning your sexuality if your sexuality has been taken from you socially a lot in the past. However, I will say this, the problem is it becomes toxic at some point. It became toxic for me as that international dating coach, and it can become toxic for the women. The very thing that you seek to conquer then becomes your God. And then that thing becomes an item in your life that is the center focus of your life, rather than giving, rather than love, rather than God, rather than higher aspirations, rather than connection, rather than sharing, rather than self-accountability and responsibility. And all these things are higher level of vibrations of energy rather than being narcissistic. And at the moment, being narcissistic feels like it's great and satisfying. It feels like attention and the validation is great, but it's actually a very low paradigm when it comes to love, loving yourself, and interpersonal relationships. So at the conclusion, what do I gotta say? Are we fucked? Kinda for a little while. I think it's gonna continue for another 3 to 5 years like this, and then eventually go so far when people that are at this certain age group that are experiencing it get older, and they're like, you know what? I gotta go back to how things used to be, and we see a swing of the pendulum in the other directions.
I want to hear your thoughts and comments down below, right? So drop a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let's get this conversation going. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you disagree with me? Either way, I want to know what's up. And also like the video, very important. Right now, if you watch my videos for a while or a few years and you're not seeing them a lot, the algorithm is being a biatch. So you gotta like the videos or else you don't see them anymore. And algorithm suppresses content like this, you know what I mean? Like this kind of content, you know, it's suppressed. So if you wanna see it, make sure it gets continued to be made on this channel, then you gotta like the video as well. I appreciate that. You're doing a good thing for the world here today.